Dealing with a 2020 Chevy Trax. This complaint was just the fact that the AC is not working. So when you push the AC button, nothing happens. I got pretty far in my diagnosis. Been messing with it for about 30 minutes, trying to figure out what was going on. I did have a code in the instrument cluster for ambient air temperature sensor. Went into the instrument cluster, and the ambient air temperature sensor is displaying -40. And based on how the AC operates in with these new vehicles, if the ambient air temperature sensor, or just the vehicles mostly in general, if the ambient air temperature sensor is extremely low, why would it cut the AC on when it's -40? So it's a safety mechanism that shuts down the air conditioning. And even though if I go into the HVAC unit, I can hit the AC button, submit a request, it recognizes that the buttons are being depressed. It's just not following through with activating the AC, simply because the ambient air temperature sensor is at -40. Let me show you what it looked like, and let me show you what I found out, and then we'll go on with discovering the problem, because I'm midway through it and I think I'm getting really close. Now mind you, I'm just gonna save you a lot of time. I know the compressor and everything works. I was able to bidirectionally control that. There's our problem, the -40, the ambient air temperature. Let me back out and show you the code. B0158, ambient air temperature sensor circuit, high voltage or open. So basically what happens, from what I see, it has a 5-volt reference and it gets backfed like most circuits do. It takes that voltage, that reference voltage, and it loops back to the computer, and that's how it recognizes there's some continuity. The component does have some resistance, but it needs to recognize that there's some voltage coming back through there, and it's very discretionary based off of how the manufacturer programmed it. But basically it just doesn't have that loop going back, that bias voltage. So up to this point, let me show you what happened. There was a collision. She hit something. Strangely, she said she went to the car wash and then just failed to work from there. Came over here, tested. I found the ambient air temperature sensor. It was supposed to be in here. That fell out because of the collision. Start looking around, discovered that it was plugged in. It looks superficially, it looks fine. It's not cracked or anything. It looks fine. So I'm not going to question this being defective, because what I did jump these wires, and with the other videos that if I've literally just did a video on a Dodge Journey with the ambient air temperature sensor issue, but the wires were broken, and when we was testing them I was able to jump it and it didn't short anything out. It maxed out the voltage. Did the same thing, nothing happened. So, but I do have 5 volts on one of these wires. Let me show you that. Uh-oh. Get my power probe here. This is the star of the show today. Pierce one. Yep. So this one, this wire has where the alligator clamp is. This has 5 volts. The other one doesn't have anything. So we need to find out where this issue is. And I went a little bit back, like a foot back, was checking for some sort of not continuity, but I tried to send voltage through that signal wire about a foot back, and it didn't change the PID data. I went about another foot back, nothing. But let me show you something. I need to go where the damage was. So if it was hit here, I followed the wiring harness from there all the way. It comes in this area here. So I'm gonna pull the bumper off, and then we're going to look at the wire, because that's a sub harness from the sensor to here. There's a sub harness that sit on the bumper support, and we're going to try to jump the signal wire and see if it changes. If it do, then our issue is going to be from here through here, or either in this vicinity. So let's pull the bumper off. I can just get in here now. I don't have to go much further. This is our connector that's going to the ambient air temperature sensor. So what I'm gonna do I'm gonna pull my PID data back up, look at the live data, and pull up the ambient air temperature sensor, see if I can manipulate that or change that. I'm gonna isolate this. Let's get the power probe and just pierce into one of the wires. The wire that I need, I don't know. I'm gonna see if there's any type of change though. Can't get in there. Let's pull it out. Let's just do that. Pull it out. Can I pierce? Just want to see which one is. So we got 5 volts on that one. Let's see if there's any voltage. Yep. So we have sound here. So logically, if I jump these two, our value is going to change. And let me show you that. So I have my 5 volts here. Let me jump this. Oh, shikes, man. I think I could probably take a piercing pin and go inside of there, but being that's our signal, that's what we need to be, this should work. And we got a broken wire somewhere in here, and it's probably, I don't know, maybe we can see it. This is crazy bend right here. It might be inside up there. Wait, is that it? It's probably, yeah, it feels sharp. That's probably where it is. Yeah, there's our problem. There's a problem right there. Let me cut it open. This is some really good insulation. There you go. There you go. There's your problem. That's all we needed. So we don't need to replace the sensor. Throwing a part at it would not have fixed this problem. But then again, we still wouldn't have been able to discover this without bidirectional scan tools. You couldn't see this in the computer system. You would have to literally go inside the HVAC module, and it wasn't even in there. It was in the instrument cluster. That's where this code was. So simply put, we just need to fix this wire. I'm not even going to back test it. I'm just going to repair this wire, put this back, and plug this joker in, and we're going to see if the AC works. Clear the code and see if it works. All right, don't cut yourself. We're going to jump right onto it. I know it's going to be like unconventional, but I'm just going to take, I don't have any wire that thin unless I just take it from an old wiring harness, but I think we'll be perfectly fine with this. I'm just going to do a twist tie method. Just twist it very tight. Oh shoot, you know what I didn't do? I didn't even put my insulation on it. That's what I need to do. I'm just going to match it up. It's about right there. Put my insulation on there. I know this is totally not going to be considered a legit repair, but I can promise you nothing's going to happen. Yeah, we're good. I know it's not going to be agreed upon, but the only weakest point is going to wind up being the insulation, assuming anything happened with that. But it's going to be joined with the other one, so it'll still be able to flex and stress any stress point. I think we'll be fine. I'm responsible for it anyway, not anybody else. Here we go. So we're back in our resting spot. Doesn't look too bad. Look like somebody named Part Shooter touched it. Let's plug the sensor in there and see if I fix something or if I broke it. So I found it. Here it goes. Let's plug it in and see if anything changes. No. Nothing changed. I wonder why. Is it because the key is in the off position, or is it because the code's present? Let's go back. Let's clear the code. Because if it has a code set in there, it might go through some like protocol to work around the conditions. Let's see if it changed. Oh, it's still there. Could we have a bad sensor? Probably calls the code now. Ambient air temperature sensor is registering. Sensor, it's 100%. Why did it do that? What's going on here? 46. Is there a short with the sensor? Why is it doing that? The sensor might actually be broken. I don't know why it's changing like that. Might have some issues with this wiring too. Because if I hold it like this, it stays, or is it just me? I'm holding it in a funny position and it is doing something different. I just keep dancing around. Let me see what the code is. If there's another code that popped up, because I honestly didn't look at that. There's no codes. If there's no codes present, then maybe I need to start it up, shut it down, and cut it back on. Let's do that. Cut the AC off. Let's cut it off. Then cut it back on and see if anything changes. Oh, it's still negative 40. Interesting. Let's cut AC on. Yeah, AC still not working. Maybe I got another short somewhere in the wire. So let me check the wiring at the connector, because it may be another broken wire somewhere. Before the power probe responded to the signal wire as the ground. So we got our 5 volts. Yeah, it's doing the same thing as it was up there. Let's try jumping the sensor and see if the data changes, because the sensor may have just been compromised from the collision. Should max out. It did change. The ambient air temperature sensor percentage went to 0, but the ambient air temperature sensor didn't change. Let me clear the codes and see if it changes. I should have an open code, yeah. We should have it fixed though. Let's go to live data. Should be maxed out. Nope, it's still at negative 40. It's probably got like a short code now. Let me see what comes up. You know, it's still short to ground. Let me take that off. It was 158. So we had a B0158. Let me see if it changes. 158. I can't remember the last code. Let's go to trouble codes.
No fault codes. Should have an open circuit code. .158. So now I got high voltage versus short. So it needs to see very specific resistance, and we might just have an issue with the sensor now. So we have continuity because it registered as the short code. So when I had a 158.02 before, when I shorted the pins, let me show you that. So I'm gonna short them. So leaving it unplugged gave us a high code. Shorting it, let's see if it'll crop up. Shorting it will give us the 158-02 versus the -05. Okay. So again, the PID data displayed ambient air temperature sensor percentage at 0. When I have it shorted out, and then it gave me the short to ground code, the B0158-02. So it's working now, because if I disconnect it, let me clear the code. Go to live data. We should see the 100%. Yep, ambient air temperature sensor 100% and still -40. And then when we go to trouble code, we should have the wait a minute, where is it at? Where is it at? There we go, the 05, B15805. That's the high voltage. So the impact damaged the ambient air temperature sensor too. So I need to find out if we have an ambient air temperature sensor at the store, which I doubt, but let's try it. I wound up finding it, but it was an ambient air temperature sensor calculation reset. And I had to, it said display, so I'm like, well, let me just go into the instrument cluster and see if I can change it. And that's when I had that option to relearn CAN, and that's where we currently are now. So I did that. I had the TC, what was that light that was on? I'm gonna show you. I had the traction control. I think that's obviously what it should be. I had that light on. And what I did was do a complete scan and cleared all the codes, and that went away. So right now, I'm gonna take it on test drive, see how this responds, and if the temperature adjusts to the actual ambient air temperature, and see what happens. But the main thing is, I found the broken wire, I got the ambient air temperature sensor repaired, went to the dealer, got the part. Unfortunately, it still didn't work, and here we are later in the afternoon and hours of thinking. So let me take it on test drive and we'll be right back. All right, so taking on test drive didn't work because it's still at 140. Let me show you how dumb I can be, because I tend to overlook things, and it's literally my face. I'm in the engine control module. Press special function, and right there in front of my face, right there, ambient air temperature sensor, ambient air temperature calculation reset. What I did was I went to the instrument cluster and did the CAN relearn, and I guess that kind of like I don't know what it did, but it definitely changed the state of functionality or how it perceived information in devices, because again, that changed. So let me do this right, and y'all learn from my mistakes. So here we are. Let's push this button. We'll see what happens. Reading is fundamental. So ambient air temperature, that's coolant temperature, intake air temperature sensor. I guess it will take a calculation of those and determine the outside temperature, because that's not right. Let's do a reset. progress. So that's it. It's not 39 degrees in here, I can promise you that. I don't know if it's going to change anything on the display, but let me shut it down and start it back up, see what happens. It hasn't changed anything on the display. Time is still right, so I don't think. That's interesting. That's interesting. Let me do it with the car off and see if it changes anything. Let me see if there's any trouble codes. No fault codes. Turn the key in the on position. Let's try it again. Yeah, I'm not sure why it's just saying 39 still. I guess I can take it on another test drive and see what happens. I wonder if this might be like a programming issue or something. Maybe, what if I do that can reset? What if I do the can reset with the vehicle off? Let me go back and see if it'll change the state again. Instrument cluster. CAN bus configuration learn. Turn ignition off. Okay, let's see what happens. Hopefully this will resolve it. Yeah, still at 140. Procedure complete. So there's no lights on. We're still at 140. I want to assume I need to take it on a test drive because this might just be a programming issue. Go to live data. Let's go to engine and let's look at the ambient air temperature because everything was like just giving me different values and I'm not understanding why. So this is now at 39 degrees. I swear at one point it was like 75. And this is a factory sensor. Totally OEM. Well, I took it back on the test drive, and unfortunately, it dropped to 32 degrees. I'm not sure why I keep fluctuating the temperature in the PC. Oh gosh, hold on. The temperature, the ambient air temperature in the PCM went up to 42. I mean, it is a little warm out here. I'm not sure why it's still stuck at 42 degrees. But that one changed to 32. So I guess that's not going to have an influence like the PCM would, because that's what controls the air conditioner. Now the AC is still working. I don't know if I could show you that, but it's doing what it's supposed to do. All right, just came on my test drive a while ago. The temperature on the monitor dropped to 32. It's hovering around there. It's not 32 degrees out here. Temperature in the PCM is at 42 degrees, and it's like 70s right now. So I'm not understanding why it's doing that, but it is slightly rising. Maybe after a while of driving it, some things will change. Maybe it's a programming thing. The surface information didn't say anything about having to program it. I'd imagine it'll automatically recalibrate. I don't think there's anything wiring related because of how sensitive it is to the extreme changes. There's no pull to ground, there's no pull to there's no open to positive. So I'm not going to sit there and assume that it's probably something wiring related. I just can't assume that. I'm not. Because if there was some problems, then disconnecting the circuit wouldn't have had both extremes, short to ground or open to positive. So I'm not going to question that. I'm going to hope that it's going to recalibrate its own eventually. I'm going to hope. I don't know. This is my first time having to deal with this and having to do a recalibration for a temperature sensor. I'm going to assume that the dealer gave me the correct part. Here we are. The system works. It had a broken wire, got that fixed, got the sensor replaced. We have something now, and the AC works. That's what's most important. So hopefully the ambient air temperature sensor don't have too much of a crazy influence on things, but I'm going to have to end this video for what I got going on now, because as far as anything else happening outside of this scope, it's taking a lot of my time, and I don't know yet. This is something I'm just going to have to come back to, but the main thing again is that the AC works. So hopefully somebody else is a lot more smarter than me and can figure this out. Maybe there's a programming thing, maybe it's a sensor, I don't know. Hopefully somebody will be able to help me out in the comment section. But if anything happened, I'll definitely update. I'll try to put that information in the description. Hit the link, subscribe to the channel, stay informed, how to originals my work, and I'll see you next one.